There's many ways to make fire by friction, and many ways to creatively make fire. People will ask me, "Hey, they see me doing this, and they say, have you ever made fire with flint and steel?" I'm like, "Yeah, works great if you've got flint and steel. If you have neither flint nor steel, your flint and steel doesn't work." "Hey, did you ever make fire with steel wool and a battery?" Yes! I don't carry steel wool and a battery with me. If I'm going to carry steel wool and a battery to make fire, aren't I going to carry a Zippo lighter? Right? It just doesn't. These are creative ways to make fire, and I appreciate them. I've tried them. I know they work. One of my 7-year-old, actually my good friend and mentor, John Jankowitz, who passed away last year. For a year, I went hiking every Sunday at 2 o'clock for an hour with John and his 2 granddaughters, Moran and Andy, just for that precious hour. And a couple of years later, this was actually last year, Moran comes up to me and says, "Michael, you know how to make fire with a soda can and a chocolate bar?" I was like, "No, honey." "How?" She goes, "Think about it." It's like, yeah, she's used to being around native teachers who aren't so concerned about giving you information, rather teaching you how to learn and how to teach yourself. So I came up with all these ideas, but really what her solution was is that you take the chocolate bar and you use the chocolate to polish the bottom. You turn the soda can over, you take the chocolate bar, you polish the bottom so it's like a mirror. You put your tinder in that lens and it creates a convex reflector and focuses the heat. Now, this isn't going to work at night. It's not going to work on a rainy day. You still need really dry tinder in that lens. But I was like, what a creative solution! If I don't have a soda can or a chocolate bar, it's not going to work very well. Plus, I'm probably going to eat the chocolate bar anyway. You know, heck with the fire. I'm going to eat the chocolate. So, that being said, what I have here is a bow drill kit. I was doing a fire making demo at a parade. There was a whole military parade down in Montgomery, New York, just north of West Point a few years ago. And I was making fire. There's a bunch of cadets there, and we were making fire. Some of them had done this, and some of them hadn't. And I was sharing a bunch of different ways to make fire. And the cadets were all into it. They were all curious and trying different things. And an officer comes over and says, because this is very common, an officer comes over and says, "Hey there, young fella." I was probably older than him. "Hey there, young fella. Want to use my lighter?" I said, "Yes, let me have your lighter. The people need fire. Let me have your lighter." And he said, "Well, I don't have it on me." Now, what good is a lighter if you don't have it on you, right? You need to have it on you. This is the beauty of learning primitive skills, is all we need to make fire, to feed ourselves, to navigate without map or compass, to find fresh water, to do all these things. All we need is the woods, right? Everything that we need is here. Remember our ancestors. They needed nothing but what the earth provided. So, and just kind of buff it up a little bit. This. Hey, if I need to, I can use this rock here to soften it up if I need to. Hey, that's cool. Kind of make it into a very fibrous bundle. Maybe I'll mix it in with this little thing that we pulled off the fence over there. And mix that in. This is a little small and meager, but I think it might work. What other thing? Oh, there it is. Now, if this was wet, how would we dry it out if we were lost and we needed fire?
Put it over the fire.
Put it over the fire.
There you go.
You don't have a fire.
Right, exactly. So how would you dry it? What's your one heat source? Okay, what if it's not? What if it's raining?
Body heat.
Armpits.
Body heat is your only source of heat that you have. As long as you're alive and breathing, you got a little. The furnace is burning, right? There's some life in there. And what you would do is put this next to your body and just You can work it with your hands if it's, if there's any kind of breeze at all, but you would put it as close to your body as you can to try to suck some of that moisture out of there. I think this is going to work fine. Just a gut feeling. And now, the beauty of a bow drill is one of many ways, as I said, to make fire by friction. The beauty of a bow drill is that it generates you get a lot of leverage with this. So it creates a lot of heat and creates a big pile of dust and a very large coal, which you're going to hopefully see. With any good fortune, we're going to see that. And even if this tinder bundle has a bunch of moisture in it, we're going to use the heat from this to help drive the moisture out of that. So, this is called a spindle. Should be about that long and about as thick as your thumb. It's called the rule of thumb. The bow, reasonably strong branch from your armpit to the palm of your hand. This is a piece of parachute cord. I use this thing about 10 times a week, so I use parachute cord. If we didn't have parachute cord, hey, a shoelace, clothing strip down, something like that would work. Right here, I forgot a bow one day, and I said, oh, I can't believe it, I forgot my bow. And I said, well, let's solve that. I went and grabbed a branch, and an elder woman, she was in her 70s, says, would you like to use my shoelace? May we? She said, of course. And we used her shoelace to make the fire, so that made it a little more realistic. But if we didn't have this and we wanted to make a bow string, there's a few plants in this area that that are really strong fibers. Milkweed, dogbane, stinging nettle, those kinds of plants make really good cordage. But it takes a long time to spin a bowstring like this, one that's going to work. So I use parachute cord. And the spindle, this is called the fireboard. The fireboard generally about as thick as the spindle. A socket is drilled into the fireboard. About the center of the socket is about the width of the spindle. That's your center point. A socket is drilled into the fireboard, and then a notch is cut out of there. The notch is what catches the hot dust. So I'm going to load this thing up, and we'll see how it goes. Handhold is something that fits in my hand, has a little cavity to hold the spindle.